Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. And keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as, investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy! Alright folks, here we are on Monday, December 18th. We're going to take a look at Draftkings today. So let's zoom out for a sec to orient ourselves. Now, we were caught under this downtrend resistance after this big push up. We had put in this buy floor that we were expecting buyers to show up in, ideally, and they did in a big way. Big gap up here on this day, up over 16%. And based on that push, now it's putting in this beginnings of this flagging pattern. We'll see if this continues to play out, but you know, it wouldn't have to persist too long in here to get pretty tight in this range. So I think it'll be clear if it's going to fill out this pattern or not in the coming days and weeks. Now, you know, we could get a big push out of there. We'll see what happens, or if it pulls down through and can't hold this like 35.24 support level that we have, which is the nearest in to where it is at the moment. If it does pop through and push, you know, there's some levels. Obviously, it's had a hard time getting into like the mid 39s at the moment, but the strongest level that I pulled from, you know, scrolling back here in these previous ranges was this 42.29 level. That's held up really well through several pushes and pulls of the stock price. So we'll see if it can stretch toward that if it does push up. Now, if it does fall, a couple of things to watch out for. This 35.24, like I said, if it flips that to resistance and starts to retrace, pretty thin price action as of late through here. So I don't know if it'll move as quickly through there, if it'll try to put in a level in between, because this is a pretty big percentage gap here. But 31.85 would be the next most obvious strong level that I would see. And then there is a gap, so just be aware. I'm going to take off this to declutter the chart a bit. There's this gap that it left on that, like I said, that day where it jumped over 16%. And that gap, it would enter it from the top at 30.14, and it would fill it at about 28.98. So sort of like a battle for 29. I do have a level in here at 29.45, so it may catch some support if it gets in the gap, but if it gets that deep into the gap, you know, it may certainly come through to fill it. We'll have to wait and see. We see there's some previous gaps in this same area that it was able to fill to the upside relatively quickly. So just sort of keep an eye on it and see which way it wants to trend and where it shifts and what it does with those. But see a bunch of these jumps and then sort of the pattern that's been putting in. So right now, I don't know if it's going to follow that same systematic effort this time around, but I'd be really interested if it would be able to fill out this flagging pattern. Could be really interesting. Now, on the think or swim side of things, if we zoom in here, we had a trigger and fire back here that set off this nice move up, an additional conviction candle, pushed it from, you know, mid 33s all the way up through 39 here. So really good motion. Now it pulled back into the channel, retested the mid-range, and is still fighting that battle. So it's gone one leg down below and one push back above, and now it's on its second leg below. So interesting to see, or I'm interested to see how that sort of plays out. We do see it did sort of bury that bullish momentum, baselined, and then started picking up the bearish momentum even as the price was trying to climb back through the mid-range. So we'll see if that continues to bear out. I mean, we do have a couple, you know, like this one here, that was a pretty abrupt shift from the bearish momentum. This one was a little bit more sort of systematic, you know, nice smooth up and down. But we'll see. And also if it does continue to hug the mid-range, if it does start to trigger on the TTM squeeze indicator, that would be really interesting to me, especially because if it's continuing to hug the mid-range, you know, there's a good chance that it continues in this pattern as well. And so if it's in here and it starts to get really compressed and it's at the mid-range and triggering on the TTM squeeze indicator, that's really going to have all my sort of bells and whistles going off. All right, folks, I hope that your trading week is off to a good start. And as always, I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next video.